To connect with the essence of your being, it is essential to inhabit your body, because the body is a powerful opening into presence. To find that gateway, you sense and feel the energy field in your inner body. You feel the aliveness that is undoubtedly there, because the body is alive. The other two gateways we'll look at will also put you in touch with that inner sense of aliveness. There is an enormous intelligence that operates throughout your body. You can't see it, but there is an organizing principle in the body that controls and regulates thousands of functions simultaneously. The human mind would not be able to do that. It couldn't keep the body alive for 2 seconds. It is far too complex. You would have to be aware of 1,000 or more things at the same time. Every cell embodies intelligence. The mind is just a tiny expression of that vast intelligence. Most humans are unaware of the aliveness in their body because their entire attention is trapped in thinking, in continuous mental noise. From their head, they look down from above at their body as if it were some alien object. That's why people say, "I have a body." A much truer statement would be, "I am the body." Then you don't have a split of a me that says, "I possess this thing that I call body." When you split yourself off from the body, it is problematic like everything else that you have. And you're not satisfied with it, just as you're not satisfied with anything else either. The mind says it's too simple to just feel or sense the body. It thinks that can't work because it isn't complicated enough. But to be able to sense the field of aliveness, the very life that is the body, is a gateway into the state of presence. There is an increased aliveness as soon as you inhabit the body, which means your attention is not exclusively on the outer world and your sense perceptions. As well, when you inhabit your body, your attention is not exclusively in thought. Some of your attention dwells in the inner energy field of the body. The most important thing is that it takes your attention away from the otherwise continuous mental noise. When you inhabit your body, then you are rooted in your being. You are present with your entire energy field. One could almost say every cell is present. You feel a global sense of aliveness, of body. That is an amazing thing. By doing this, you connect with an intelligence that is far greater than the human mind. And even to say connect is not totally right, because ultimately you are that more than you are the mental noise. The inner body then becomes an anchor for staying present. This aliveness that you can feel doesn't depend on whether the body is 20 years old or 55 or 90 years old. It doesn't change throughout your life and it doesn't grow old. Only the external vehicle grows old. This portal of the inner body is so near and so close to you, closer than your hands and your feet. Someone once said, "God is closer to you than hands and feet." And if you look at that, what could be closer than hands and feet? They are pretty close. But inside your hands and feet is even closer. It is not a sacrilege to say, the nearest that God is to you is in your body. Everybody has been asking, where does God exist? God is the very life that you are. But when you are only a mind-based entity, God becomes a mental image that you identify with, and then it becomes a belief or belief system. And inevitably, sooner or later, you will be in conflict with others who have a slightly different belief system. So, as you listen to this, feel the inner body. How, some people ask me. What does that mean, feel the inner body? Let's conduct a little experiment. Without moving your hand or touching anything, with your eyes closed, simply ask yourself, is there any way I can know whether my right hand is still there or not? Without looking, without moving your hand, is there any way you can know whether your right hand still exists? That question will draw your attention away from mental noise and thinking. The mind will say, well, no, I don't know if I have a right hand or not. The question is meaningless anyway. What's the point? I've got far more important things to think about than this. Does that solve my problems? That's what the mind does. And I know one or two minds listening to this are now saying that. You simply ask yourself the question, how can I know whether my right hand is still there? Is there any way I can know? That question draws your attention away from your mind, and your attention moves into the hand, and suddenly you can feel it. Not very strong, perhaps, but there is a certain field of aliveness there. Once you inhabit your hand, then you know what it means to inhabit the body. Then you can inhabit the other hand, the left hand. First you inhabit the right hand, and then the left hand. And now comes the strange thing. You can do it with your eyes closed or open. Feel both hands at the same time, and feel them so completely that there is the feeling of hand. Not so much anymore a mental image of two hands, just a feeling of hand. And then even that hand disappears, and there's just a sense of aliveness. It is subtle and quite beautiful. It is alive. Then you learn to hold attention there, effortlessly. You can see how your thought stream immediately slows down because there isn't enough consciousness now in the head to make thoughts out of, because your attention is moving into the body. At the same time as you feel your hands, you feel the inner aliveness in your feet. Isn't that amazing? If you can now feel hands and feet together, this is how gradually you bring together the feeling of inner body into one single feeling of aliveness. You feel legs and arms, and the rest of the body then becomes part of that. There's a sense of aliveness throughout the whole body, so it becomes a single field of energy that you sense. If your eyes are closed, for a little while it may still seem as if you were observing that feeling of inner body. But then allow yourself to merge with that feeling, so you are the feeling of inner body. It is then no longer a head observing the inner body. You are present as much in your feet as you are in your head. The center of gravity of who you are is no longer just in the head, it's all over your body. It is everywhere equally. It is possible that some people feel a particular area more strongly than other areas, but that doesn't matter. You don't need to go through some particular technique or movement. They can be helpful to get you into the body, but being in the body is not to be confined to performing particular movements. They are helpful, but being in the body is your natural state. The main thing is to be able simply to walk through that gateway. The moment you enter the body, you have stepped out of identification with mental noise. And if your eyes are not closed now, close them just for a moment and hold attention in your body. There's no effort involved. You're not trying to get anywhere. There's no trying. Just feel yourself being rooted within, inhabiting the body and holding that feeling. That increases enormously the aliveness throughout your body. And the amazing thing is, you open your eyes and you begin to perceive again visually, and you are still feeling the inner body even as you perceive what is around you. You look around, and of course you hear my voice, or you see the objects or people around you, or you see the totality of the room where you're sitting. You continue to feel the inner body, perhaps not as strongly as when your eyes were closed, but you're still present within. And you can then perceive without interference, or at least very limited interference, by the conditioned mind. Suddenly there's a clarity in your sense perceptions because they are no longer distorted by your mental noise and by all the labels that the mind throws up continuously. So by sensing that global feeling of body, you are anchored in the now, and you are free of thousands of years of collective mental conditioning. You have simply stepped out of the stream of compulsive thinking, and you perceive without past. Everything is fresh and new and alive. There's an alert sense of presence, a high degree of wakefulness that pervades your entire being. It is an aliveness, an alertness, in which there's no tension. You can see the difference in quality between that state and the state of labeling things and of being immersed in continuous thought and continuous past and future, and looking for yourself there. Stepping out of mental noise is very simple. The only thing that can hold you back is believing the mind when it tells you, "No, you must not step out. You need to think about this now. It's 4 o'clock in the morning and you need to think about this. It matters. I want your attention." Remember that all of this that we are doing is regarded by the mind as insignificant or a hindrance to what you really want. Or it is boring. Or, "No, I've done that. I've done meditation for 20 years. Give me something new." So see that the mind will not regard this as important because it says your problems are important, not this. That's what your mind says. But then you know that it's fine when the mind pretends that your problems are more important than this. You recognize that. Oh yes, that's what the mind does. That's okay. Because this is too simple to be interesting to the mind. It loves complexity. Give me something that I need to work out and I can think about. I'm pointing this out because otherwise, if you don't know that, the mind can draw your attention back completely. As you listen to the music now, continue to hold attention in the body, being present within and without at the same time. Listen to it with your whole body.